Hi, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite weekly podcast, The Middlegame. I'm here with Lula Rovs, and I am your co host, Amelia Castellao. And today we're going to be talking about how do you choose a chess coach? And do you really need a grandmaster? Today's going to be a bit of a different style of episode because Lula is more of a frequent and professional player than I am. And because I am kind of in the process of deciding if I want a chess coach, I'm going to do a little bit of an interview style and ask Lula some questions about, why do you need a chess coach if there's so much material online about how to learn chess, how to learn openings? Because I think that while, yeah, there's a lot of stuff online, chess coaches can obviously offer a different perspective. And so I'm really excited to see what Lula has to say about how do you pick a chess coach?
Hi, Amelia. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast.
Our podcast.
No, I think it's such a good question because obviously people ask me all the time, how do you learn chess? People come to my stream and they say, hey, I'm a beginner. Like, how do I learn? How do I get better? And I do always direct them to free material online. I do always direct them to YouTube because I think for the majority of chess players, that's enough. But I think that if you want to play over the board tournaments, and I think that if you want to really improve your depth of understanding, it's a lot easier to do with personalized coaching. Now, there are loads of people online who are really good who have never had coaching. I'm not saying by any means it's not possible, but like anything in life, it's easier if you have some help. So when you go online and you watch a YouTube video about how to improve at chess, it's very generalized. It's very generic, and it has to be because it has to appeal to a wide range of chess players. Even if you're looking at something for your general level, it's possible that you have different gaps in your knowledge than somebody else of the same elo. So when you have a chess coach, they will go through your games and create a training plan that's just for you.
Okay, that's really good to know. I've only had one chess coach ever, International Master Tom Rundle, or as I like to call him, Trundle. He was my chess coach for a brief month or two. And I will have to say, I really enjoyed having a chess coach, and I thought he was a really good teacher. But I'm not playing tournaments a lot. Like I do chess, but more on the back end. But now I think for me for 2026, like I mentioned in our previous episode, you know, for me, my goals for next year are I really would love to play in the Austrian Women's League and I want to play at a chess club. And something that I think I need at this point to like get at that level is, well, one, I need to start playing chess a bit more, but also two, I think maybe, once or twice a month, like a chess coach could help on my way to achieving my goals. And so, how many
Mm.
chess coaches have you had? And like, how did you kind of find these chess coaches, or at what stage were you like, oh, I think I need a chess coach?
Well, funny you ask because I have had so many chess coaches throughout from like beginner stages to now. And I have had some very good chess coaches and I've had some very bad chess coaches. I don't want to say which ones were which, obviously. Um, but I've had some very like high level chess coaches, and I've had non-titled players coach me. So even Mr. Dodgy has coached me. I had JJ, aka Chess Fields, coach me for a while. I also had National Master Laura Smith give me a couple of coaching sessions. I had Grandmaster Alonso Zapata give me coaching for the Olympiad because he was assigned to our federation. I had Grandmaster Irina Crush coach me in preparation for the Olympiad, thanks to a chess.com sponsorship that I had. And I currently have a new chess coach. And they have all had vastly different teaching styles. I have never had two chess coaches who are particularly similar. And so I think that there's definitely somebody out there for everybody when it comes to teaching style, personality. Personally, for me, I prefer a more empathetic coach who understands the like psychological pressures of chess that I deal with, because personally I'm somebody who gets very emotionally attached to my classical chess games and tournaments, and I know that we're all results oriented, but it's something that I personally have struggled a lot with. So I really appreciate when a coach like has that empathy. And having had so many chess coaches, I think that I'm in quite a good place to identify like what I think is good and what I think is not so good.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think too, just with the way that your chess career has panned out, I think that you're also in a really good position to kind of give our listeners some insight on, okay, at what point in your chess career are you like, I needed a coach? Can you tell kind of walk me through how you decided, I guess, for the first time that you needed a coach? Was it the Olympiad or was it something else?
So the first time that I actively sought out a one-to-one like coaching situation was after I had had one of the worst coaching sessions of my life from somebody who I was friendly with at the time who was like starting out with coaching. So he was like starting out as a chess coach and I was like, okay, well like I'll book a session with him to like help him out, you know? And first of all, it was really expensive given the level of the coach. And it was the worst coaching session I've ever had. So after that, I reached out to one of my mutuals on Twitter, JJ, aka Chess Feels, who I also knew was a chess coach. And I asked him, like, you know, is this stuff kind of normal for chess coaches to do? Like, do you think that this was like a standard lesson? And JJ basically confirmed my fears that what I had had was a really bad one size fits all coaching session that was not tailored to me, was underestimating my skill level, had not done any effort into assessing my skill level. And it was just like a ripoff. So there are some cowboys out there. And after that, I was speaking with JJ, and he became my chess coach for a while. And that was really fun because it was like the first time where I had had a coach that I felt like was seeing me and my chess level and like what I wanted and what I was capable of. I also had different chess coaches, probably my first year even of chess, of playing chess. Um, through content. So like I would do collabs with people who would coach me on stream. So they weren't necessarily my formal chess coach. Like I wasn't paying them, but like we would do a collab or we would do a couple of collabs. Or like I had one coach through like a chess dojo program that I did, which didn't go well at all. It wasn't any of the guys from Chess Dojo, by the way, who was coaching me. It was somebody else. It's just it's incredibly individual, like who will be a good coach for you. And unfortunately, you're very likely to have some trial and error before finding a coach that you like. I know that Mr. Dodgy last year, when he was looking for a coach, he tried out like 5 different coaches before choosing his, all within the space of 1 week.
Why did you fire Mr. Dodgy? At what point do you need to fire a chess coach?
Oh, well, I think Mr. Dodgy just doesn't enjoy coaching, and it's kind of something he does just as a favor to friends. And like I was paying him, but I know that it's not his passion and I know that he doesn't really enjoy it. And like I wasn't super dedicated and he wasn't super dedicated, so it just wasn't the right matchup. I think we were just better off as friends rather than as coach and student. So yeah.
Wow. It's it's not him, it's me kind of situation.
No, it was him too. It was him.
It was us. I think that that's really interesting. I definitely think it's for sure an individual experience, at least from my short sessions with Trundle. Like, I find that I also need someone who's a bit empathetic, but also I need someone who like pushes me because honestly, I'm a little lazy. Trundle gave me
Mm.
homework and I was like, damn, like I probably need he would be like, you can't just not play chess games. He was like, I need to see you play chess. And he was like, if I don't see any chess on your account, like we're gonna have an issue. And I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
but he really pushed me like kind of out of my comfort zone, which I also really liked.
That's very important. And I think homework is also a sign of a good teacher. And I think I've had a similar problem with coaches because all of my coaches know that I'm like a content creator as well. Some of them have completely ignored it, which didn't go well. But like for me, my coach has to acknowledge that all of my games on my public account are being played on stream. I'm like doing five other things at the same time. I'm not focused on the chess game. I'm chit chatting. I'm banning people from my chat. I'm tabbing out to fix like the camera. Like there's so many different things going on that they're not representative of what I can do. And so my coaches, I've definitely given them a hard time because yeah, I don't play that many games off stream. I've had periods where I don't play any games off stream at all, aka the past 3 years. And so we're kind of reliant on my classical games to look at my skill level. And of course, like I actually just started with a new coach yesterday, and it's hard because I haven't played any classical since last December. So we were looking at games I played last year, and I was like cringing at them. Um, so yeah, you definitely have to be actively playing in order to make the most of your chess coaching. And I have struggled with this as well. And I'm also lazy. And I think that if you're somebody who struggles to motivate themselves to study chess or to just be like playing the rapid games and getting the hours in, then having a coach would be very good for you.
Is your new coach a titled player or no?
Yes, she is. But actually, the reason that I chose her was she was recommended to me from a friend, and I've had group sessions with her in the past. So she did some coaching for the Jersey women's team, I think like last year or the year before, like for women who were potential candidates for the Olympiad. I obviously wasn't allowed to play in the end, but I did benefit from a little bit of the coaching. So I had met her digitally then, and she was really nice during the coaching sessions. And so we already had like kind of a basis for that relationship. I also know that she lives in the same city as me.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's a potential for the occasional in person meet, which is something that I was kind of looking for. Um, because even though like the majority of our lessons will be via Zoom, as is the preference of literally every chess coach I've found in Paris, and like generally these days, they don't want to have to commute because that adds hours to their time that they're not being paid for. I wanted somebody who was pretty local so she can keep me informed also about tournaments that might be going on. We're on the same time zone. Like all of this just facilitates the sessions to be so much easier because I remember when I was having coaching with JJ, he was like 6 hours behind. So it was quite difficult sometimes to like make a convenient time for me, a convenient time for him, one that worked for both of us. So the reasons that I chose her were not because of her title. Obviously, like I think having a title helps for your credibility as a chess coach because I think a lot of people put a lot of power into to chess titles. But also I know that she's highly qualified. Like she has done loads of training courses with FIDE for coaching. She coaches a lot. Like it's pretty much I think her full-time job that and playing professional chess. So I know that she is really serious about her coaching, and I think that you can't say the same for a lot of titled players, and I don't think that having a title makes you a good coach.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because you've had coaches who were titled and coaches who were GMs and not GMs. Like, what are the noticeable differences in a coach that has a GM title versus one that isn't?
Yeah, I would say that the main difference is when you're being coached by a grandmaster, they think that everything that you go through in your sessions is easy. And they think that when they're reviewing your games, everything is easy. And so they do not have the capacity to understand like when you're actually truly struggling, I think, because they mastered the game when they were like 15. And so it's been a very, very long time since they have had to improve at such a low level or what they would consider such a low level. So they genuinely just don't understand struggling with the concepts that the average student struggles with because they've never been an adult improver. So I think having a grandmaster can actually be detrimental because they won't be able to get it. Like, they will be able to give you excellent analysis of your games. They will be able to explain exactly why something is wrong. They will be able to recommend you probably like the best books. But will they, like, I had one, I don't want to say who, but like I had one grandmaster coach once who like made me cry multiple times because they were shaming my games in public in front of other chess
That's
players.
not
And
okay.
yeah, but like they didn't even consider it to be a big deal. I had had one of the worst games of my life or whatever, and I really didn't want to talk about it. I wasn't ready to talk about it. And they were like, okay, Lula, why would you do that? Why would you play this move? And I was just like, no, I can't do this. So personally, I need somebody who is not, I need somebody who is like a little bit more understanding. And I think that generally like going down a few levels from grandmaster gets you a lot better understanding from your coach. And I personally prefer that. Like I'm not convinced I would hire a grandmaster coach again.
Yeah, but I feel like that makes sense. I think that, at least for me, when I'm logically thinking, okay, I need a chess coach, I know that, yes, while I started playing chess when I was much younger, I was 5 when I started playing, but there's a huge gap of time where I didn't play chess. And then I really picked it up again when I was 22. And I know now at the young age of 25 that I'm not going to become a grandmaster. That is not in the wheelhouse for me. Like, can I maybe become a WCM? Even that, I feel like that is
Just
a
move to Jersey.
true. But I was like, maybe even that's a stretch. Like for me, I feel like logically, it doesn't make sense for me to have a grandmaster coach. Like, let's say, you know, maybe I want to get my rating to just like 15, 1600. So I want to find a chess coach who's, maybe an adult improver and who is like more around, is maybe like a little higher than the goal that I want to achieve, but that can reasonably help me get to that goal. And so I guess like the next question I have is like, what do good coaches do? And what do you think people should, like, yes, it's a completely individual experience, but like generally, what do you think people should look for when they're looking for a chess coach?
So I think that a coach should never force their repertoire on you. I think is really important. Like I've seen some coaches, for example, teach all of their students the Jababa London. Like they'll teach them all the same opening, which I think is okay, fine if you're dealing with like beginners and they're all learning E4, E5, because like that's probably what they should be learning is E4, E5. But like something like the Jababa London, I just hate seeing coaches force their repertoire on their students. I think that it's very lazy. Like I was speaking with my coach yesterday and I was saying, oh, I really struggle against the Caracanas white. And she was like, okay, no worries. I mean, I'm a D4 player, but like that's not a problem. I can find something for you that we can look at. And like that's the response I would expect is that like even if she doesn't play the opening I play, we're gonna look at the opening I play. We're not gonna look at the opening she plays because that's what I'm there for, like my repertoire. And so I think, yeah, anything where you're, like you get the sense that your coach is trying to get you to play what they play is a bit of a red flag for me because it seems like then they're just trying to standardize all their lessons to be based on the exact same formula. And there's nothing wrong with being a coach and like reusing puzzles and like reusing example games because there are, some things which are excellent just for a specific level. But I think at the end of the day, your coaching should be tailored to you. They should be looking through your games and they should be able to identify your specific weaknesses. If you have like glaring positional weaknesses, or if your tactics are weak, if you have a weakness against a certain opening, a good coach should be able to look and to identify what these errors are that you make over and over again. Because obviously if we could do that ourselves we wouldn't be making those errors. So the coach should be able to offer what you can't do yourself. But they should have flexibility. Like if you want something out of your coaching sessions, at the end of the day, you're the client. Like you should be able to ask. Like if you say, look, I really want to work on end games, and the next week your coach is like, I want to look at this opening, you'll be like, well, hold on. I specifically said I really want to study endgames. So I think don't be afraid to to like know exactly what you want to get out of your coaching sessions. Obviously, if you're totally new to having coaching, maybe you won't know what to expect and maybe you'll just let your coach lead. That's fine too. Like if you don't know what you want, you'll figure it out pretty quickly, I think. But I think that just because they're a better chess player than you, like you're still allowed to have preferences for what you want.
Absolutely. I think, well, first I want to say, as much as I am a London player, the Jobava London gives me the ick. Like, I don't know what it is about the Jobava London, but I'm not here for it. I'm actually very anti Jobava London. So, anyway, second, I completely agree with you. I think that, you know, at least from what I'm hearing and what I'm learning from you today, coaching is not a one size fits all situation. I completely agree with you that, there are going to be probably a lot of chess coaches in my life that I'm going to have to trial and error before I meet them. And I think that it's really important as well to like find the one that has the right fit. I think if our listeners take anything away from this, it's, you know, your chess career, your chess playing experience, it's your own and you should find someone who fits with you. And I don't know about you, but do you like because for me, Trundle, yes, was my coach, but also he was kind of my friend too. Like how like are we becoming friends with our coaches? Like because I kind of want my coach to be my bestie in a way. Not like in a way that's unprofessional, but just like I want them to like actually really truly like I want to feel like they support me.
Yeah. I think that it's very important to trust your coach. And what I mean by that is to be able to have a vulnerability for saying, actually, no, I'm really struggling here. Or like, look, like I really don't like playing this. Like, can you help me? And like to not feel embarrassed because there are some things in chess which may seem very basic to some people that others may really struggle with, and you should not feel embarrassed about it. So if you can't, be honest with your coach, I don't think it's going to be a good relationship. I think that there has to be some professional boundary. I've definitely had coaches in the past where we've been friendly. So like Dodgy or JJ, we've been friends as well as coach students. And like I have been able to like message them at the tournament and be like, "Oh, I'm so stressed about this," or "Hey, do you have time for a lesson to prepare and stuff?" And this is more casual. Like it's something that I would not have felt comfortable asking some of my other coaches. Like for an impromptu lesson or to help me prep for something. So, I mean, it depends again, like if you're going to be playing tournaments, you also have to keep your coach in the loop. Like, hey, I'm going to be playing this tournament. Can we schedule some sessions during that tournament? Like, that's one other way of going about it. But me personally, like, I get to the tournament and then I panic, and and I need someone to talk me down at the tournament. And I've had some coaches do that before. Would I like now ask my coaches of that, having like a more professional relationship? Maybe not. Um, but I definitely want to be able to be honest with my coach about my feelings. And like yesterday in my lesson, I definitely opened up to my new coach about how I didn't want to play tournaments this year and I'd been very unhappy with my performance in certain games last year, and that I had felt like there were some games where I just emotionally gave up midway through the game. And I think that's something that's very hard to admit because I feel very much like a failure at times when I'm mid chess game and I lose the like will to fight, and I like lose that desire to like to win, because without that, like why are you playing chess? Without the competitive desire to win, what are you sitting there for? And so sometimes I've definitely been struck by this and on multiple occasions, and I feel like there's a part of me that feels like it means I'm defective as a chess player. But other times, I still really want to play chess, and I have to be able to talk about these things with my coach because otherwise, they're not going to be able to help me because I'm not a machine, and I need somebody who can understand like the psychological like pressures of playing a tournament and also playing a tournament as a streamer. And that's like the next direct question that she asked me was like, do you think the camera puts more pressure on you when you're streaming your tournaments? And I had to tell her, it's been so long that I haven't played a tournament without a camera that I don't even remember, because I've been playing with a camera for longer than I've been playing without a camera. Like, I only played 2 or 3 tournaments ever without a camera, and everything else has been live streamed. So I think like she was very clearly able to like identify, how much pressure I put on myself. And also, like, she is very understanding of the content creator aspect. And that's something I personally needed. So I think that if you can't be like very frank with your coach, then it's probably not the coach for you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for like sharing that with our viewers. Like, I think that that's a really hard thing to admit, like all of that pressure that, we put on ourselves. And I don't think at all that makes you a defective chess player. I think that just makes you a chess player. I think a lot of people struggle the way you struggle. And I'm glad that you found a coach that, seems to understand this. And I'm manifesting the best like coaching experience for you. Um, do you have any goals like for, because I know you want to get back into tournaments. Were there any specific goals that you discussed with your coach for this next upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, she said that she thinks I should definitely keep playing events, but she said that for me, because I struggle with time trouble, she thinks I should just play ones that have that extra 30 minutes at Move 40. So instead of playing just 90-30 tournaments, I play 90-30 plus 30, because then it gives me like the freedom to spend longer. As long as, I mean, I do need to work on my time management in general, but I think that seeing as I've never been super active, like I've never chained tournaments back to back to back, so I've never really gotten used to a specific time control. So one of my goals definitely is to improve my time management, only like choosing the right tournaments. She also mentioned like you have to choose the tournaments that can offer you what you're looking for in an event, whether that be that you want to play 2 games a day, or you want to spend a week somewhere, or you want a specific time control. So I think my goals are that I will be like, first of all, studying regularly. I've started setting up study sessions with a friend every week as well as my lessons. And I definitely want to play tournaments next year. So I don't have goals in terms of rating goals, because for me, um, it's not useful, because I will beat myself up for not achieving them. Like, it's never been healthy for me to have number based goals. And I think that once I'm back into that like rhythm of studying, having coaching, and then I jump back into tournaments, then maybe I can assess, do I have goals for my chess career? But I think at this stage, it's not the right moment.
I think that's good. I love this for you. 10 out of
Thank
10.
you.
Um, Thank you so much for letting me do this little interview style pod with you on our podcast. I learned a lot. Am I going to get a chess coach? Maybe. I'll keep you in the
I
loop.
think I think you should. I think I also want to say, like, before we end, that you can also always just get a chess coach for a couple of sessions. Like, there's no obligation. You don't have to sign up for, 10 or 20 sessions. You can just have a couple. And I mean, there will be some people that do this where they just have sessions like when they're preparing for a tournament. And there will also be some people who do this where they'll hire a chess coach and they'll have like a list of like questions/concerns. They just want to address these and then they'll stop having coaching. So like they'll want to know like which books to read for their level. They'll want to know like which sidelines of their opening are like best to look at and like stuff like this. They'll have very specific queries and like maybe they won't have a constant chess coach and that's fine too. My last piece of advice for you is find a coach that doesn't rely on the engine, because
Ooh, okay.
if you're in a coaching session and your coach is just using the engine analysis, then you're going to learn a lot less about how they think and how somebody of that level thinks. And like if my coach is I don't know, 2200, I actually think my coach is higher rated than that. I think she's like 2300. I want to know how she thinks. I don't want to know how the 3000 level engine thinks, because I'm never going to think like that. But if I can inch closer to thinking like a 2000 plus player, that's good for me. I just need to see how the cogs turn in her head. And I'm never going to do that if my coach is reliant on an engine. So make sure that you can identify quickly if your coach is using an engine or not.
For sure. That's actually really good advice. I didn't even think about that. Well, thank you so much to our listeners for joining us this week. We'll be back next week with another episode and see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Good luck.